be your host for this morning's webinar. So now, we all know that every day we're all prone to risk maybe of environmental factors or human or personal factors and many more. So that's why it is a must for us to know how can we be able to manage or even reduce the risks na ato ma-encounter. And as part of training the students in our university and VSU, so the Civic Welfare Training Services in partnership with the more knowledgeable others when it comes to this topic, the disaster risk reduction management, hosts the third webinar series in the aim of providing information and heightening awareness. So to start with our webinar for this morning, may we have Ms. Evangeline Tapayan, Coordinator of Team Charity, to lead the prayer followed by the Philippine National Anthem. Ma'am?
Good morning, everyone. Let's put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear God, we offer everything to you during this webinar. May we humbly ask you to shower our speakers today of your greatest inspiration so that they may share the most of their knowledge to their respective topics. May we also retain the invaluable knowledge and learning experiences and put it into practice as we may learn today. We pray that you bless all the committees in charge, that they may be able to fulfill their task and that the objectives they have set may all be achieved. Your infinite blessing would mean the success of this webinar. May we be a living witnesses of your genuine love through the enactment of the knowledge acquired through this activity. Grant us your divine wisdom as we go about our daily task after this webinar. This we ask in Jesus' name, amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.
Bayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang mag-ibig, telas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyak ka ng mag-ibig, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pamay magdidinig. Lumalang araw ng walhagin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Alright, so once again, good morning to all of us. Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Maayong buntag sa atong tanan, maupay na kahaton nga tanan. So I hope you are all ready to listen and to learn to our webinar for today, for this morning. So, good morning to all of us nga naadali sa Zoom, and of course to our students who opt to watch and learn from this webinar via Facebook Live. So, stay put lang kayo dyan at makinig kayo mamaya. And of course, while listening, kindly take note na lang din sa mga important matters, and of course, prepare your questions that will be addressed later on in our open forum. So, here in our webinar are the coordinators, the CWTS coordinators, and also our head, our director of our CWTS, and of course the students. So before we proceed, class, let us open our cameras. I highly encourage everyone, especially the students, to open your cameras para naman makita natin yung ating mga pagmumukha, mga fresh ng mga faces, of course. Para malaman din natin kung talaga bang nandito kayo. Baka naman naka-on lang kayo, naka-join kayo, pero hindi pala kayo physically present. So, kailangan malaman din natin yan. Diba? And of course, this webinar is intended for you students. So, kinakailangan natin, of course, malaman kung nandito ba talaga kayo, kasi baka naman coordinators lang yung nandito, yung nakikinig at nanunood. So, kailangan natin na, aside sa naka-open yung cam, kinakailangan din natin ng quick attendance para sa ating lahat. And now, let's proceed first to, of course, kinakailangan nating malaman, and later on, you will be clicking emojis per team. I'll be assigning emojis or mga, emojis na kinakailangan yung i-send or i-click just for us to know na you are really in our Zoom. So, even if nanonood lang kayo via Facebook Live, so i-click nyo rin ito para malaman natin kung nandito ba talaga kayo. And now, without further ado, of course, magsisimula tayo sa aking team. So, Team Excellence, nandito ba kayo? So, show me or send us your purple heart. Okay, pasintabi sa mga armies dyan. So, purple hearts para sa ating Team Excellence. Okay, pakita nga, mukhang wala pa ako nakikitang emojis. Okay, meron na from Nicolette. Okay, very good. So, now, from Team Charity, let's have or kindly click or send us your red heart. So, red heart naman para sa ating Team Charity o sa Facebook or sa Facebook Live man or sa dito sa ating Zoom, kindly send us your red heart. So, Team Creativity, okay, we have from Coco. So, Team Creativity, star emoji please. Yung i-send or i-click ninyo. Okay, wala pa ako nakikita so far na star emoji. Okay, nandito na pala si Connie. So, very good. For Team Fortitude, kindly send or click the care emoji because we care for you. Sure. Okay, kindly send us or click the care emoji. For Team Honesty naman, so kindly click the thumbs up or the like emoji. Now, for Team Innovative, kindly click the blue heart. Okay, marami na sila sa Team Honesty. Sa Team Fortitude. So, Team Innovative, kindly click the blue heart. Then, yellow heart naman para sa ating Team Integrity. Again, for Team Integrity, kindly click or send us your yellow heart. Okay pa? Sige. Now, let's proceed to Team Perseverance. So, kindly send us your smiley emoji. Okay, nawala ako saglit. So, again, balik tayo. Team Perseverance, smiley emoji. Smiley emoji po. Team Relevance, green heart naman. Okay, green. Team Resilience. So, black heart naman tayo sa ating Team Resilience. So, kindly click the black heart. Then, Team Sincerity na yung gray heart. Sabay kayo. And now, sorry, kindly click na lang or send us your wave na emoji. Okay. So, hopefully, okay, marami na ako nakikita ng mga green hearts, purple hearts, ano pa ba? Sa Facebook Live, sana ay nakisabay rin kayo. So, I think okay na. So now I believe we are all ready. So at this moment, allow me to welcome our INSTP director himself, Professor Manolo Loreto, for his welcome message. Sir?
Thank you, Miss May, Erna May Alahas, for all to our speakers this morning. We have 3 parts of this seminar this morning. To our CWTS coordinator, Professor Joy Billion, to our staff facilitators, okay, for these CWTS, and to all our CWTS trainees, a pleasant morning to everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to this another series of our webinar, and this is on related to DRRM, which is the in thing now these days. DRRM is not only for a community like a city by or a city or a municipality, but rather it is also or should be adapted also in a smaller community. So for example, here in the university, we have a crisis management committee in which we are preparing or we are discussing every now and then related to our disaster risks and reduction management program. What is most important in this program is preparedness. Okay, we have to be prepared at any eventuality. So whatever scenarios that we have, okay, that we envision to happen, then we should be prepared. So this is, I think, the purpose of this seminar is for all of us to be aware of what things to prepare. I can remember that during the Yolanda, we were there in our apartment. We were so unprepared, no? So we just waited for what will happen next because we were unprepared then. But the following year, when there was another typhoon to hit our place, that was December 2014, and it was forecasted that it is like a Yolanda itself also. The strength of that was also like a Yolanda, and so we prepared. So what we did is we transferred to a building that is more to us. We believe that it is more resistant to strong winds, and that is our mahogany dormitory. So we transferred there. I transferred the whole family, including our neighbors. I encouraged them to transfer because we have to prepare. That was a scary part, no? They said that is Yolanda-like, and so we did on that. So nothing happened. I mean, nothing really. The typhoon passed, but wala lang siya, kusog siya, pero very minor ang atong damage during the time because everybody prepared. And what we did also in the campus is that we tried to prune the trees para dili mga tumba siya. And that is part of the preparation. And also, sa amo pod nga side, during the time, we prepared kay kanang ilagingon nga go bag, no? Pero dili bag ang amo, but box, where we place their grocery items, whatever, water, flashlight, radio nga kanang di baterya, just to be always in touch with what is happening outside during that time. Okay, so everything must be prepared, and this is, I believe, that we have to be aware of, and this is also the things that I believe that our resource person will have to inculcate for us, not only in the preparation but also in our first aid. Okay, what if kung panalitan na atay accident during the time, or disaster, how can we help other people? Okay, in a little way, pero dili ta pwede nga mupataka og tabang, no? So they will have to caution us at what aspect that we can extend our help only during the time. So students, dear students in CWTS, take this as an opportunity, a great opportunity for us to learn and relearn. Tingali nakabati ta og disaster, risks and reduction management. But we do not know. We just let it pass from one year to another year. But we did not take it seriously. Now is the time to take it very, very seriously. We do not know if this will happen to us or to our community or to our country. And so we have to be ready at all time. Dili gud nato matagna nga kung ready ta 100% nga protected. No, it's not. But at least we are ready. So with this, I say that to our resource persons, no, we have here from our bureau. I'm not so sure, no. LDRRMO from Baybay City. We have Mr. Sino ato gini siya nga suki nini nga program na to. And then we have from our very own College of Nursing for the first aid. And for the first fire and earthquake safety from the Bureau of Fire Protection. So take advantage of their sharing on their knowledge and experience to us. So with this, I welcome everyone to this series of webinar, part of our curriculum in the CWTS. Pleasant morning again to all. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Professor Manolo Loreto. So I like to quote the word opportunity and preparedness. So may we take this one as an opportunity, students, kasi hindi ito madalas na ibibigay. So kailangan nating malaman ang mga bagay-bagay na ito para sa ating kaayusan. So now, without further ado, let's now proceed to the first talk to be given to us. The first talk is all about the types of hazards in the Philippines. So I would like to introduce to you our first speaker for this morning. So he is a graduate of BS Agriculture, major in agronomy in the year 1991 at VISCA. So currently known as VSU. So a Juris Doctor graduate at Eastern Samar State University, Borongan City in the year 2020. A disaster risk reduction or climate change practitioner since 2006. LDRRMO2 Plantilla staff of LGU Baybay City Leyte, designated as the Administration and Training Officer of CDRRM Office. From Tacloban City, and now an adopted son of Baybay City Leyte. So allow me to help me welcome our first speaker for this morning, Mr. Prisciliano C. Sino Jr. So let's give him a virtual applause, please.
Thank you for our MC, Ms. Erna May Alahas. So can I share now, Ma'am Erna, my presentation?
Yes, sir, please.
So just advise me if it's already visible in our dashboard.
Yes, sir, it's already visible, sir, and hindi pa lang siya naka full screen.
Okay. Ayan, full screen na po ba siya?
Opo, sir.
Okay, so am I allowed to start already?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, so good morning to all our participants for this webinar. As I can see in my dashboard, there are 67 persons or individuals who are part of this activity. So before that, I would like to extend our utmost appreciation to VSU for always having a continued collaboration with our office and also to the local government unit of Baybay City, wherein we are so thankful because BSU as an institution, we are looking at it as part of our DRRM prevention, mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery, and rehabilitation partner. So as to ensure that the constituents of Baybay City will always be safe of any eventualities brought by any hazards that are present in our area. So as mentioned by Ms. Erna May Alahas earlier, I am the local DRRMO officer of the City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office of Baybay. So for this webinar, I was assigned to discuss the types of hazards in the Philippines. So to continue, I would like to share what is the objective of this course or this webinar so that our students will be enlightened, because I am hoping after my topic discussion, everyone will be able to learn the objectives of this webinar. So first, I want each students to know the basic concept of disaster risk reduction and management. There are words that are always mentioned when we talk about DRRM. So hopefully after this session, the 67 participants of this webinar will be able to grasp the full meaning or definition of those words or concepts that pertains to disaster risk reduction and management. Then second, of course, to know the types of hazards in the Philippines so that all of us will be able to situate ourselves and avoid those hazards. Because in Tagalog, hazards means banta. Ito yung magbibigay sa ating ng loss of lives, limbs, and properties if we do not care the hazards that are present in our area. Then third, for our CWTS students to fully understand why there is a need to learn about this subject matter, because if you situate it, the core values of the civic welfare training service that is being inculcated to each student of the National Service Training Program of our state is, number one, you should have that core values of volunteerism. So in DRRM, we are expecting you later on, not just a student of BSU, but whenever you go home, wherever locality you belong, that you will be part of DRRM. Most especially if there is an impending emergency, you will be helping your communities as part of your volunteerism aspect. So now we continue. The important concept of disaster risk reduction and management. Number one, since my topic is about types of hazards in the Philippines, so it is best that we discuss what is a hazard. So a hazard is a potential source of harm or adverse health effect on a person or persons which could lead to damage to property, to their environment, or a combination of this. So hazard, ito po yung mga banta na nakapaloob sa ating locality or area kung nasaan tayo. And hindi lang sa within our locality as a whole kung nasaan yung ating bansa. May mga different hazards po tayo, and as an advanced information to each and everyone, I will be talking later the natural hazards that will affect us if we don't do anything about it, and the man-made hazards. Then the next concept that I should want each of you to understand and learn is about risk. So what is a risk? So it is the degree or likelihood of harm taking place or will be caused based on exposure to hazard. So there is always a hazard, but sometimes the risk is only minimal, and sometimes the risk involved for the people within those hazardous areas are also high. So we should be able to reduce our risk to avoid any harm for each of us. Then next is exposure. So what is exposure? Exposure is the situation of people, infrastructure, housing, production capacities, and other tangible human assets located in a hazard-prone areas. So there are times that even our place is affected by a certain hazard, but because of our exposure, which is only minimal, then we won't be vulnerable for that hazard. Then next that I want to impart to each and every one of you is about vulnerability. What is vulnerability? Ito po, kung sa Tagalog, ito po yung kahinaan natin to respond and or to address any hazard. So ito po yung characteristics and circumstances of a community, system, or asset that make it susceptible to the damaging effects of a hazard. So kahinaan po pag sinabing vulnerability. Then there are many aspects of vulnerability arising from, example, physical. So ito yung ating mga makikitang buildings. Kung hindi po tayo nag-follow sa building code, pag dumating sa atin yung hazard ng earthquake, so we will be expecting more damage to our infrastructure. Then social, ito naman yung social aspect ng mga tao. Kung wala tayong pake, because we have this mentality of wait and see, tayo nagiging proactive, reactive pa rin tayo. So malaki ang vulnerabilities natin or kahinaan in terms of hazards that will affect our areas. Then economic aspect, syempre pag wala tayong funding, wala tayong masyadong pundo, dito apektado rin yung preparedness measures natin towards eliminating or averting disasters. Then of course, our environmental factors. The more degraded our environment, because we cut all our trees, then the more we are prone to hazards. Most especially to meteorological hazards. Lalo na pag malakas or mataas yung precipitation, we will be expecting landslides. So ito po yung ibig sabihin ng vulnerability. The next is what is capacity. Dito, ito yung ating combination of all the strengths and attributes and resources available within an organization, community, or society to manage and reduce disaster risk and strengthen resilience. So pag mataas po yung capacity ng mga tao, mataas din ang kasiguruhan na malalayo tayo sa disaster. So later on, I will present to you an equation how to minimize or avert disasters. So, una, tingnan po natin ano bang ibig sabihin ng disaster. A disaster is a serious problem occurring over a short period or a long period of time. So, pwede pala magkaroon tayo ng calamity or disaster na medyo mabagal yung pagdating niya at mabilisan at ang epekto ay maging short lang or long period of time. At ang cause niya dito sa atin ay widespread human, material, economic, or environmental loss which exceeds the ability of the affected community or society to cope using its own resources. So pag sinabi natin na ang isang area ay affected ng disaster, hindi na nila kayang ipagpatuloy yung nakasanayan nilang gawin araw-araw na walang aakibat na tulong mula sa labas. Kaya bilang students, I will tell an anecdote to you about the difference of an emergency to a disaster. So we will correlate it to a love affair para at least mapatawa ko naman kayo kahit konti lang. So there is an emergency pag may makita kang pugi o magandang babae dyan sa tabi mo at parang biglang kumalabog yung dibdib mo dahil sa kakaibang naramdaman mo. So yun po ang ibig sabihin ng emergency. Then later on, nagka-imyo kayo, nagkaroon kayo ng mutual understanding, then nagka-boyfriend, girlfriend na kayo, then without you knowing, both of you become too compulsive, nagpunta kayo doon sa dapat na hindi pa ginagawa ng mga nagbo-boyfriend pa lang at nag-girlfriend, lalo na mga students pa na kagaya ninyo, hindi nyo akalain na mabuntis si babae. Kaya yun ang tinatawag na disaster dahil pag hindi nyo kayang buhayin pa yung sarili ninyo, nangangailangan pa kayo ng tulong ng mga parents nyo o anybody that will be aiding help of your present predicament. So yun ang tinatawag natin na disaster. Kaya dapat maingat po tayo, huwag kayong pabugso-bugso ng inyong damdamin dahil in every situation, in every time sa ating existence dito sa mundo, parang ano yan, may kanya-kanyang panahon. Ngayon, panahon yung mag-aral, Kaya doon muna yung focus natin. Although yung iba sasabihin kasi na maigi daw may boyfriend, girlfriend dahil well-motivated. Okay lang yun. Ako din, nangyari rin sa akin yan dahil bilang BSU alumnus, nagkaroon din ako ng girlfriend nung time namin while we were students. Pero yun nga, hindi ko iniba hanggang ano lang ako, emergency. Ayoko kasing ma-disaster. Kaya at least I'm so grateful nakapagtapos ako sa BISCA at makikita nyo naman, hindi masyado naghirap yung buhay ko. So hopefully, ganun din yung gawin nyo. Huwag muna kayong magpa-disaster. So to continue, ba't ayaw nang mag-move nitong slide ko? Ika na ano yung para sorry, parang ayaw mag-move yung aking PowerPoint presentation. So, can I give you 5 minutes break so that I can check what happened to my PowerPoint presentation?
Okay, sir. Okay, so while we are still having, while Mr. Prisciliano, our speaker, is giving us the time, a short break. So, pwede mo inom anay kung di pang uhaw mo. Okay. Or, naamoy ko, relax anay sa inyong mata while waiting. So, but do not leave. Of course, stay with us. Kung ayaw nyo magkaroon ng disaster. Okay, para hindi kayo ma-prone sa disaster, para magkaroon kayo ng kaalaman.
So my presentation is back. So what is the pleasure of the students? Should I continue or wait for about a minute? So kindly advise.
So can I hear a response from the students? Okay, okay lang ba daw na magpatuloy na? Kahit
Yes,
isa
ma'am.
lang na respond. Okay, okay lang daw, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
sir.
Okay, sir. Pwede na daw, sir.
Okay, so dito, I am going to show you what happened, why disaster happened, at saka paano po natin i-avert yung disaster. So sa unang, makikita nyo yung unang equation, a disaster will really happen if our hazard is high, our vulnerability is high, and our exposure to the hazard is high, while our capacity is very low. So with this, there is a greater possibility that whenever there is a hazard that will affect our locality, it will turn to a disaster. So in order to avert disaster, we cannot do away with hazard, most especially if we have no means to relocate, but we can do away, or we can do something to lessen our vulnerabilities and exposure. So dito magagawa natin na yung ating mga preparedness, prevention, mitigating measures para ma-ensure na malayo tayo sa kalamidad or disaster. At dito rin, pwede natin palakasin yung ating capacity. With high capacity, or yung kalakasan natin, i-strengthen pa natin, talagang ma-avert po natin yung disaster. Dahil ang tao kasi, makikita ninyo, whenever there's an impending emergency coming to our place, pag sinabi ng LGU, okay, magkaroon tayo ng preemptive evacuation. Those household or family members that doesn't bother to relocate or go to evacuation centers, it means that they are not capacitated. They do not know what are the measures that they should be doing so as to avert any loss on their life and limbs. Because i-consider po natin na mas precious po ang ating buhay. Yung properties natin, ano lang yan, wala yang silbi pag mayroong impending emergency and eventually will cause disaster to our locality. Kaya dapat inculcate natin, hindi lang sa ating mga students, kasama na rin sa ating mga parents, at isama na rin natin yung ating nearest relatives and friends and colleagues at saka community members na yung buhay po natin ang mas mahalaga kaysa itong mga nabibili natin na samut-saring stuff. Bakit mahalaga yung buhay natin? Wala kasi tayo mabibili nito sa palengke dahil yung body parts po ng isang tao, it is beyond commerce. Bawal po yan ipagbenta. Kaya nga kung makikita ninyo, pagka nangailangan kayo, may mga kasamahan kayo sa bahay na hospital, hindi kayo bibili ng dugo. Maghahanap lang kayo ng blood donors dahil it is beyond the commerce of man. Yung mga body organs natin at kung ano-ano pang pwede natin makuha sa ating katawan. So ibig sabihin, it is so precious more than our other properties that we are able to acquire. And ito pa dapat intindihin ng bawat isa sa atin. Itong ating mga properties, mga cellphones at iba-iba pa na ating binibigyang pansin na parang mas mahalaga pa sa buhay natin. Kaya nga hindi siya ganun kahalaga dahil pwede pa natin yan mapalitan. Pero itong buhay natin, yung ating sarili, pag ito na yung nasira, hindi na kayang magawan ng medical science at ano pa man, darating talagang punto na we will be 6 feet below the ground. Kaya while we are still alive, we should be conscious that our life is more precious than our properties owned. So ganun po. Kaya dito, i-capacitate po natin ang bawat isa sa atin, kasama na rin kayo ngayon, dahil nga kanina sabi nga ng ating moderators that this is your opportunity. And I would like to add, not just an opportunity but privilege. Dahil hindi lahat na students ngayon na nandito dapat ay nandito. Marami kayong wala. Imagine you are only 62 and I am expecting 1,000 because before I accept this topic, I asked your coordinator, which coordinated our office for me to be your resource person. I learned that there are 1,000 CWTS students, but sad to say, you only reach 62 for now. So you are privileged if you will listen to me. So, bakit ba tayo nag-uusap ngayon nito, nagkakaroon tayo ng webinar? Why should we be inculcated the importance of disaster risk reduction and management? Because there was a law passed in 2010 which is called the Republic Act 10121. Ito po yung ating legal basis. Lahat ng pinagagawa natin, hindi ito ay ginagawa-gawa lang natin dahil gusto nating gawin. May batas na isinusulong ito na talagang gagawin natin dahil sa batas na ito yung the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act of 2010. Pag hindi natin ito sinunod, lalo na pag tayo ay mga public servants or anybody that belongs to our society, pwede po tayong managot sa batas. Although dito, ang pag-uusapan lang natin yung punto na bakit kayo ini-encourage or pina-attend ng webinar ng types of hazards in the Philippines. Dahil po ito sa batas na ito. At dahil sa batas na ito, dapat ma-mainstream natin yung disaster risk reduction and management in all sector of the society. So you are part now of the sector of our society, kaya dapat may alam kayo sa DRRN. Then, dahil sa batas na RA 10121, dapat included ito sa curriculum and all programs ng ating school, yung disaster risk reduction and management. Na yung thematic areas niya, na-mention na kanina ni Sir Manolo Loreto, yung inyong NSTP head, na yung preparedness. Actually, yung prevention mitigation isa sa thematic area, then yung preparedness isang thematic areas din yan ng DRRM, at may response, recovery, and rehabilitation. So doon pong apat na yan, umiinog yung ating response action para at least yung bawat isang buhay natin, isama na rin yung ating ari-arian, although ini-impose ko na ma-internalize ninyo, may isa puso at may isa buhay, at sana maisagawa ninyo na yung buhay talaga natin yung uunahin natin. sa any impending emergencies that might later on cause an disaster. Then, because of this law, bakit siya dapat ma-mainstream sa ating lahat? Dahil DRRM is everybody's concern. Mamaya, pag nakita ninyo yung different types of hazards na i-discuss ko sa inyo, doon nyo ma-internalize, ma-realize na dapat pala bawat isa sa atin makisawsaw dahil walang exemption. Example, pag may dumating na bagyo, hindi yan pipiliin na sasabihin na si Mr. Seno, hindi yan kasama. Ililihis namin, hindi namin dadaanan yung bahay niya. Hindi po ganon. Kaya DRRM is everybody's concern dahil lahat tayo affected pagka yung hazard na ay dumating sa ating buhay o di kaya yun ay daraan sa ating locality or areas kung nasaan tayo. So sana ma-internalize ninyo yung kabigatan ng batas na ito dahil mayroon siyang parusa. May parusa siya na pwede kang mabilanggo at pwede ka ring magbayad pa ng multa kung hindi ka sumunod dito. So dahil yung topic ko lang ngayon ay limited, hindi ako masyadong tatahak doon tungkol sa batas, at least mayroon kayong bird's eye view na hindi siya pwedeng hindi natin sundin dahil uulitin ko, mayroon siyang penalty at saka pwede kang makonvicted na mabilanggo pag ikaw ay nagkasala sa batas na ito. So ngayon, punta na tayo sa different types of hazards in the Philippines. Dito, unahin muna natin itong mga natural hazards. So una, mayroon tayong tinatawag na geophysical hazard. Ang pag sinabi nating geo, ito ang hazard, ang precursor ay nagmumula dito sa ating kalupaan. Kaya ang ma-observe natin, ang examples nito ay yung earthquake at landslides. Pagka nagka-earthquake kasi, mayroong tinatawag natin na landslide induced by earthquake dahil sa geophysical na movement or seismicity ng ating kapaligiran. Then pagka nagkaroon ng earthquake, yung nandun sa coastal communities natin, pwede rin sila tamaan ng tsunami. Ang tsunami is an after effect of an earthquake. Malalaking alon po ito na kayang tabunan maski malalaki na yung bahay natin. And of course, itong volcanic activity na rin siya sa ating makaka-apekto rin siya sa ating kapaligiran. Then dito sa atin sa Region 8, we are so grateful for our generation, current generation, dahil hindi pa masyadong nagiging aktibo. Mayroon kasi tayong mga vulkan dito sa kapaligiran natin sa Leyte and Southern Leyte, pero dormant pa sila sa ngayon. Pero dapat alam natin na itong mga geophysical na hazards ay pwede makaapekto sa ating buhay at sa ating mga ari-arian. Then next is hydrological. Pag sinabi ito yung cause of water na pag matindi yung precipitation, magkakaroon tayo ng flooding or avalanches or landslides. Then next is climatological. Ito na po yung after effect ng climate change na dapat dahil nandito na tayo sa pag-iiba ng ating klima, we should know how to adapt. Dahil pag wala tayong ginawang adaptive measures, then we will be at the mercy of climatological hazards that are affecting our areas. So ang effect ng climatological hazard sa atin? Ito yung nagkakaroon tayo ng extreme temperatures. Yung pag-iinit ng ating kapaligiran nung dati, na kaya lang natin gumamit ng electric fan. Ngayon, medyo dahil tumataas na yung temperature, hindi na kaya lang ng electric fan. Nag-fully air condition na tayo. Then dahil din sa tindi ng tag-init natin, nagkakaroon tayo ng drought and wildfires. Kaya ito yung mga hazards na posibleng nandito na sa kapaligiran natin sa lahat ng kapuluan ng Pilipinas. Then meteorological, ito yung source ng hazard ay nanggagaling doon sa ating mga atmospheric activities. So ito yung pagdating ng cyclones or storms or tropical storms na sa atin, ang tawag natin sa bagyo ay tropical storms, at saka pag may malakas na bagyo, ang may expect natin na add-on hazards niya ay yung tinatawag natin na storm surge or wave surges. Kaya dapat as a student, alam niyo yung pag-differentiate ng tsunami at saka itong tinatawag natin na storm surge. Walang storm surge pagka walang bagyo. Walang tsunami pagka walang earthquake. So, dapat hindi yan ma-interchange dahil pwede tayong pagtawanan, lalo na pag sinabi mo na intellectual person ka. So, being an intellectual person, dapat pag sinabi mong may tsunami paparating dahil nagkaroon ng earthquake. At pagka sinabi mong mayroong storm surge na or may malalaking wave surges na parating dahil sanhi ng bagyo, so yun ang dapat na term na gagamitin natin. Huwag tayong gumamit ng tsunami na word pagka bagyo ang nandyan dahil hindi siya pwedeng pag-interchange. So next, tingnan na natin yung ating hazard sa bakit ba nandito ito sa atin itong mga natural hazard sa ating bansa. It is because of our geographical location. Whether we like it or not, ika nga gustuhin man natin at sa gustuhin, darating at darating sa atin si bagyo dahil we are an archipelagic country that is fronting the Pacific. Anong nandun sa Pacific? Yan po yung birthplace or spawning area ng ating different tropical cyclones that usually affect our nation or country in a year-round basis. Then ang isa pa, yung state natin or ang ating country ay within siya sa Ring of Fire. Ano ba yung nandun sa mga areas na napaloob doon sa Ring of Fire? Ibig sabihin, yung mga countries na yan ay may hazard siya ng mga paggalaw ng kanyang kapaligiran or mayroong seismicity na mararamdaman dahil may mga tectonic plate movements at saka yung mga lugar na yan, marami yung mga bulkan na nandyan. Kaya yan po ang nagbibigay sa atin ng malaking hazard dahil sa kung saan po tayo geographically located. The next is, every year, ito yung pagkatatandaan natin, we have an average 20 of tropical cyclones and half of these are destructive. And aside from these tropical cyclones, there are also other weather hazards that we usually experience. Ito yung thunderstorm na maya-maya, maski mainit pa yung nakikita nating weather sa ating kapaligiran, biglaan na lang nagbabago, nagkukulimlim at parang malakas na ulan, may kulog kidlat na kagad. At minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng heavy rainfall at mayroon tayong dalawang weather na ma-observe natin. Ito yung tinatawag natin na southeast at northwest monsoon. Itong southwest, ito yung habagat. Pagka habagat yung panahon, at least dito sa areas natin, we are, matatawag natin quote-unquote, safe sa mga tropical cyclones. Dahil yung bagyo, hindi tayo nadadirect hit. Pero pagka naging northwest monsoon na, which is usually happening in every year sa last quarter, dito na tayo na ang nagiging direct hit ng bagyo. Mamaya makikita ninyo sa trend ng tropical cyclones na affected yung ating province or region, it is because pagka nagkaroon na ng northwest monsoons. At saka yung cold front at saka intertropical convergence zone, ito yung nagpapabago ng ating klima. So ito yung mga natural hazards na kung ang ating community ay nandun sa low-lying areas or below sea level, prone tayo sa flooding. At saka kung nandun naman tayo sa upland communities, prone naman tayo sa landslide. So yun po ang pagkatandaan natin dahil nga gustuhin man natin na mawalay dito or malayo sa mga ganitong natural hazards, we should accept it because nga sabi ko kanina, because of our geographical location. Then dahil nga nandito tayo sa Pacific Ring of Fire, para sa hindi pa nakakaalam, mayroon tayong more than 300 volcanoes and 22 of these are active. At kadalasan naririnig lang natin si Mount Taal, Mount Mayon, pero marami-rami rin pa yung iba sa atin dyan na natutulog lang. Kaya dapat maging maingat tayo, laging handa dahil ligtas po ang may alam at laging handa. Then, aside from this na mga natural hazards, mayroon tayong active faults and trenches na siya yung potential sources of earthquake. Anong kaibahan ng faults at trenches? Pag sinabi nating active faults, yung pinaglalabasan ng ating energy pagka mayroong mga tectonic plates movements sa ilalim ng ating ground, ito yung tinatawag natin na active faults. Dito siya sa kalupaan dumadaan yung pinaglalabasan ng mga energies na yan. Pag sinabi naman nating trends, yung active trends, yung fault na yan, nasa ilalim siya ng dagat. Kaya pag ang trends ang magbigay ng or magpalabas ng energy dahil sa mga tectonic plates movements na yan, malaki ang chance na magkaroon tayo ng tsunami. Dahil nandun siya sa ilalim ng karagatan natin or sa ilalim ng tubig, kaya pag gumalaw yan, makikita ninyo magkakaroon tayo ng tsunami or big waves. At makita nyo para maliwanagan kayo sa ini-explain ko, pag mayroon kayong isang timba na tubig, pagka ginalaw ninyo yan, para nagsisimulate tayo na nagkaroon ng trends, seismicity or movement sa ilalim ng ano na yan, makikita niyo ang galaw ng tubig na yan, yan ang matatawag na natin na tsunami later on. So, isa pa na dahil nga archipelago po yung ating state or ang ating country, ibig sabihin we are surrounded by body of waters. Kaya hindi malayo na yung mga coastal communities natin, pagka nagkaroon tayo ng tropical storm, tatamaan sila ng storm surge. At pagka nagkaroon naman ng earthquake, lalo na yung mga trends natin ang gumalaw, magkakaroon naman sila ng tsunami. Dahil nga archipelagic country tayo. Ang tanong ngayon, pagka yung source ng earthquake ay galing sa ating mga active trends, pwede ba tayo magkaroon pa rin ng tsunami? Of course, pwede pa rin. Depende kasi yan sa intensity at saka yung magnitude ng energy. Ang kaibahan pala ng magnitude at saka intensity, ang magnitude, ito po yung energy na nirelease nung magkaroon ng movement sa ilalim ng ating kalupaan, yung tectonic plates movements. So, kung ano yung lakas niya, yun ang tinatawag natin na magnitude. Pero yung na-observe natin, nararamdaman natin na pagyuga sa ibabaw ng lupa, yun po ang tinatawag na seismicity. Or yun ang mararamdaman lang natin. Kaya pagka lumilindol, huwag niyong sasabihin na mayroong magnitude. Ang gagamitin natin yung seismicity dahil yan po ang record na mararamdaman natin. So dito, balikan natin from 1994 to 2003, yung naging effect sa atin sa hindi lang sa bansa kundi worldwide. Malaki-laki rin. Imagine 2.5 billion people were affected by natural disasters, and which is increasing at 60% over the past decade. So kung titingnan natin until now, 2021, nag-i-increase yan ng 60%. Then from this period, 1994 to 2003, 478,000 people were killed. So imagine, 2003 hanggang 2013, decade after, kung saan yung bansa natin ang unang-unang naka-experience ng super typhoon. Kung maaalala nyo pa si Typhoon Haiyan or si Yolanda, siya po yung so far record-breaking na typhoon yan. Hindi pa siya na-break na experience ng ibang bansa na ganun katindi. Category 5 siya. So, kaya makikita natin na palala na ng palala yung ating na-experience ng mga natural hazards. Then, floods and earthquakes are the deadliest, accounting for more than half of the casualties. Kung titingnan natin yung statistics sa ating bansa, talagang ito po yung dalawa ang maraming nawawalang buhay sa ating bansa, itong dalawang ito. Then aside from this, there are emerging global concerns. Aside sa natural hazards natin, meron tayong tinatawag na mga man-made hazards. Ito yung terrorism na recently, noong 2017, kung nakinig kayo sa radyo or nanood kayo sa mga reports sa TV, nagkaroon tayo ng Terrorism Act sa ating mga ka-Muslim brothers sa Mindanao. 2017 po yan, nangyari doon sa Mindanao. Then itong climate change na nagpapabago ng ating klima or nagkakaroon na tayo ng global warming. Bakit napasama dito siya sa man-made disaster itong climate change? Actually, ang climate change kasi siya ay nangyayari dahil sa ating kagagawang mga tao. So later on, i-discuss ko sa inyo kung bakit nagkakaroon tayo ng global warming at mas lalo ninyo maintindihan na tayo pala ang may culprit nito or may kasalanan. So ito po yung mga nagdudulot pa sa atin ng disasters. Then the country has also its episodes of fires, urban fires, air, land, and sea mishap. So maski ganun kalawak yung ating karagatan, nagbabanggaan pa rin yung ating mga bangka at saka mga barko dyan. Maski matatawag na natin, meron na tayong technological innovations ngayon, nagkakaroon pa rin ng mga mishaps. At dito sa atin, sa Leyte, kung naalala ninyo si Dunya Paz ata yun or si Marilyn na binangga ni MT Victor na oil tanker, marami-rami rin tayong kababayan, lalo na sa amin sa Tacloban City at taga Samar na malapit lang sa amin sa Tacloban, marami akong kakilala na naging part ng casualties na yon. At ito rin yung sa Southern Philippines, because of the secessionist movement, marami-rami rin tayong mga kapatid doon na namamatay. At add-on pa, vulnerable pa sila sa floodings and other natural hazards. So, while our national government are doing its best na ma-mitigate or ma-reduce natin ang impact ng different hazards sa bawat isa sa atin, kaya kung makikita ninyo dito sa larawan, nandyan pa si President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo dahil siya lang yung presidente natin na isa katuparan itong RA 10121 na batas. Dahil itong batas na ito, it is very unique. Kung titingnan ninyo sa Congress sa Kongreso natin, sa kanilang pagpapasa ng batas, ito yung naipasa nila na batas na it took sometimes. Imagine, 20 years bago siya na isa katuparang maging batas. It underwent many deliberations. 4 na presidente pa ang pinagdaanan nito bago siya naging batas. Mula kay Cory hanggang dumating si President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Kung hindi nagkaroon ng tsunami effect ng isang earthquake doon sa Banda Aceh, Indonesia, na kung saan nagkaroon ng Yogo for Action Framework, hindi pa ito maisa sa katuparan. Dahil member po tayo ng United Nations, kaya walang nagawa yung ating Pangulo, si President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, kundi isa katuparan na itong batas na matagal na nilang nakatingga sa Kongreso. So at least we are grateful and thankful na from reactive na batas na dati na pinalitan nitong RA 10121, yung PD 1566, dahil doon yung action ng government ay reactive. Ngayon, dahil sa batas na ito, naging proactive na po tayo. So, between 1970 to 2000, the Philippines incurred an average annual direct damage of 15 billion or US dollar of 300 million due to disasters. So, makikita natin, pabigat talaga itong ating mga natural hazards na dinagdagan pa natin ng mga man-made hazards. This is equivalent to more than 0.5% of our national gross domestic product per year. And the indirect and secondary impacts of these disasters further increase this cost. Kaya pag nagkikwento tayo or nag-uusap-usap tayo tungkol sa disaster risk reduction and management, dapat hindi po ito binabaliwala natin. Dapat bigyan po natin siya ng pansin dahil maski anong yaman mo, pagka dumating itong mga natural hazard sa buhay mo, makikita mo na mawawalang silbi yung pinagpaguran mo. After many years na naghihirap ka, maipundar yung mga ari-arian mo na yan, mawawala yan. So dito ipapakita ko sa inyo yung catastrophic events na nangyari sa Region 8. Una, kung kayo'y isilang na noong 1991, nagkaroon po ng flash flood yung Ormoc City na based on record, it killed almost 8,000 persons. Then next, sa landslide ng St. Bernard na nangyari noong February 17, 2006, wherein it buried a village or a barangay and killed almost 1,200 people. At mind you, parang naging blessing in disguise sa akin itong St. Bernard na landslide dahil dito po ako nagsimulang maging disaster risk reduction and management and climate change adaptive practitioner. Dahil ito po yung naging baptism of fire ko, dito din ako kasi unang naka-experience kung paano mag-respond ng isang calamity-stricken area. At mula 2006 hanggang ngayon, kung bibilangin mo, medyo mahaba-habang taon na rin ito. Pero pag ipinipikit ko po yung aking mata, ay buhay na buhay pa rin sa aking kaisipan yung mga namatay doon na nakita ko, na nabutan ko while we were giving aid. Nagbibigay po kami doon dati ng relief assistance sa mga survivors. But sad to say, yung nabibigyan namin ng relief assistance coming from World Vision, na yun po yung pinaglilingkuran ko dati na non-government organization and an international organization po siya. Yung nabibigyan namin ng relief assistance ay hindi na po yun yung mga affected community members ng St. Bernard or sa Ginsaugon area na yan na barangay. Sila na lang po yung mga relatives at friends na biglang pumunta doon, at medyo ang tatapang pa at marami pang demands na hinihiling na hindi naman pala sila yung affected. Ganon ang katindi ng ugali nating mga Pinoy. At hanggang ngayon, mula nung maka-experience naman ako sa Typhoon Haiyan, ganon pa rin, hindi nagbago. Kaya yung customs and traditions natin bilang Pilipino talagang dapat simula na nating baguhin. Kayo mga kabataan ngayon, mga millennials, inaasahan namin na in your own little way, mag-effect kayo ng change. Sana buwagin na natin itong status quo. Huwag kayong sasabi na, ganun na lang ito, bahala na si Batman. Wala po. Walang magyayari maganda sa ating bansa. Kaya kayo, challenge ko kayo na part kasi kayo ng nation building. Itong CWTS na program ninyo, ito ay nag-i-inculcate kami sa inyo ng patriotism, love of our country, na magbigay kayo ng pagbabago. Dahil kaya namin, kagaya ko, I've done my part, and hopefully ipagpatuloy ninyo yan. Then, nagkaroon din tayo ng flash flood at landslide sa Panaon Island, ito sa Southern Leyte noong December 19, 2003, which killed more than 100 persons. Then, recently, 2013, nagkaroon tayo ng super typhoon. So, I am sure kayo lahat na nandito ngayon, 59 participants, ay at least naka-experience kayo ng kung ano katindi sa Super Typhoon Haiyan. And hopefully, wala kayong family members na naging isa sa statistics sa namatay. Dahil dun sa lugar namin, sa Tacloban City, sa PHHC, marami pa akong naging kababata, yung parents nila at yung iba, mga classmates ko sa high school, sad to say, they became part of the casualty. Dahil itong batas natin na isinusulong na maging proactive tayo, itong RA 10121, sad to say, hindi pa ito 100% ini-embrace ng ating local government unit and maski kasama yung ating national government. Kung hindi nangyari si Yolanda, hindi na ito binigyan nila ng ngipin. So, after 2013 pa ito sinisimulang bigyan ng ngipin. So at least kayo, mga bata ngayon, at least you are grateful and so privileged na mas magiging ma-i-ensure na well-protected kayo sa mga natural hazards. At kaya isulong ninyo na itong batas na ito ay talagang isa katuparan 100% kung saan LGU kayo nakabilong or saan kayo nakatira. So, next is most common natural hazards na nagbibigay sa atin itong landslide na isa siyang cause ng, dalawa ang nagkukos ng landslide. may precursor siya dahil sa meteorological hazard at saka geohazard. So makikita ninyo sa picture sa Panaon Island, sa Southern Leyte at sa St. Bernard, ito po yung after effect ng landslide. So matatabunan talaga. Okay lang kung yung landslide magkataon nangyari, doon lang siya sa bundok, walang nakatira sa ibaba sa bundok na community. So yung hazard na yan, hindi siya ganun kalaki yung risk sa tao. Pero pagka may nakatira na community sa gilid ng bundok, gaya sa nangyari sa Ginsaugon, St. Bernard noong 2006, na buried alive yung ating mga kababayan doon. Kaya ganun katindi. So pag sinabing landslide, ito yung rapid mass movements ng ating kalupaan dahil ito ay na-enhance through increased precipitation or rain-induced or nagkaroon ng seismicity or earthquake-induced. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng landslide. Then, dito ipapakita ko sa inyo yung mga landslide-prone areas sa ating region, sa Region 8. So, sa hilly areas of Maasin City, isa po yan sa landslide-prone areas. Then, yung ating upland at mountainous portions of Ormoc City at Isabel Leyte. Then sa ating mountainous portions of Sugod, Southern Leyte, then coastal section of Abuyog Leyte, so landslide prone areas po sila. Then yung ating rock formations of Katbalugan, Samar, then hilly areas of Oras, then hilly areas of Burungan. So we are thankful dito sa Mount Pangasugan, hindi pa siya napasama dito sa landslide prone area dahil nga sa ating BSU, yung ating mga staff dyan na isinusulong na ma-preserve, conserve talaga itong ating mga terrestrial resources dyan. So, flooding and flash flood areas na mga prone areas sa atin. So, dito makikita natin sa nangyari sa Ormoc City. Pero lately, at least ang Ormoc, ginawa na kasi nila ng ginawa na kasi nila ng ng measures, yung river tributaries nila, inaksyonan nila kaya hindi na siya ganoon ka risky. Binago nila yung mga paliko-liko nilang river tributaries nila, winidened na. Kaya from 1991 to 2021, we are so grateful na yung Ormoc hindi na sila nagkakaroon ng flash flood. Dahil kung hindi nila yan inaksyonan, mas lalala pa siguro hanggang ngayon dahil nga sa after effect ng climate change. Then, kakaroon tayo ng coastal erosion dito sa eastern side of Leyte because of quarrying sa ating mga beach sediment materials. Kaya, based sa MGB report ng ating mga geologists, yung intense removal ng ating beach sediment or sand quarrying, siya po yung nagbibigay ng ating coastal erosion. Kaya from our coastal area, from Tacloban City, Leyte, up to the north, to Silago, Southern Leyte, sila po yung malaki ang tendency na magkaroon ng coastal erosion. Then, ang matindi pa nito dahil ang after effect ng climate change, nagkakaroon tayo ng sea level rise, so talagang malulubog. Aside from coastal erosion, maka-covered in water na itong ating mga coastal communities. So dito, makikita ninyo sa picture, sa right side, yung former sandpit ng lugar, ngayon covered in water na siya. So sa San Roque, Tanawan po ito, kaya unti-unti na nilalamon ng tubig yung kanilang coastal areas. So, earthquake precursor ng ating bansa, ito yung tinatawag nating Philippine Fault Zone na it traverses mula doon sa dulo ng ating Leyte Island hanggang dito from the north to the south. So pagka kumilos yung ating tectonic plates, mag-release yan ng energy, kaya magkakaroon tayo ng seismicity or ground shaking. So aside from that, mayroon din doon sa Samar areas na kasama rin siya sa Philippine Fault Zone. 1,200 kilometers in length po ito. So mahaba-haba rin siya. Then mayroon tayong west dipping subduction or subduction zone. Ito yung trends natin, tinatawag nating Philippine trends, na more or less 60 kilometers siya from the eastern coast of Eastern Samar. Kaya pag ito ang nag-release ng energy, yung Eastern Samar portion natin ng mga communities ay talagang tatamaan po sila ng tsunami. Isa yan sa kanilang hazard. So sa earthquake, makikita natin pagka nagkaroon talaga ng seismicity, 25 kilometers wide ang danger zone ng ating Philippine Fault Zone. So yung Baybay Leyte, although hindi tayo traversed by the Philippine Fault Zone, pero kasama tayo sa magiging or mag-experience ng damage dahil within tayo sa 25 kilometers wide zone. Then kasama rin sa Southern Leyte. So kung sa ating mga students dito, maraming taga Leyte at taga Southern Leyte, pakibasa na lang, baka nandyan yung municipalities ninyo, at least maging aware kayo na hindi natin basta-basta dapat binabaliwala itong lindol. At mayroon pang karagdagang information na gusto kong idagdag, yung fault line natin na section dito sa Leyte, for the past 100 years, hindi siya masyadong nag-move. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya masyadong nag-release ng energy. Kaya may forecast yung ating taga PBOX, DOST PBOX, na pag yun ay kumilos, nag-release ng energy, talagang tatamaan tayo ng intensity 8. So magiging damaging ang cost ng ating palibot dito sa ating mga ari-arian. Kaya kayo, mga students pa kayo ngayon, later on kung magpupundar na kayo ng inyong real properties, papatayo kayo ng bahay, I am encouraging you to follow the building code of our country dahil at least mamimitigate yung impact ng ating earthquake sa inyong ari-arian. Baka gusto nyo lang makapatayo kayo ng inyong bahay, hindi kayo mag-follow ng building code, later on it will be your burial site dahil dadaganan kayo talaga ng inyong bahay. Then sa display fault zone naman natin, nandun din tatamaan yung ating Southern Leyte cities and municipalities. Then sa Region 8, yung parallel northwest fault natin na 1,200 ang length niya sa Philippine Fault Zone natin, from Tacloban, kasama yung Samar, yung mga areas na nakapaloob doon sa hazard ng earthquake na yan. At pagka yun ay nag-release ng energy, nagkaroon ng seismicity, ito naman yung mga mayroong hazard ng tsunami from Samar, Eastern Samar, then Southern Leyte. Lahat ng coastal communities nila doon na fronting sa eastern side ng ating country, yung fronting sa Pacific, talagang tatamaan sila ng tsunami. Then sa flooding naman, dahil sa Samar, marami tayong watershed doon na sad to say ngayon ay yung terrestrial resources nila ay medyo sinalaula ng ating mga kapatid doon sa sa Samar. Paunti-unti na lang yung mga punong kahoy nila, kaya pagka malakas yung precipitation or matindi yung pag-ulan, nagkakaroon na sila ng flooding. At sa Northern Samar, ganun din. Dahil yung kanilang mga watersheds, hindi na ganoon ka-healthy. So at least dito sa atin, sa Leyte side, kung yung flooding, for the past 20 years, wala na tayo masyadong naririnig na na nagiging problema natin ito. Dahil at least kung i-compare natin yung ating terrestrial resources or itong ating mga forest resources sa Leyte at sa Samar, medyo healthy pa yung sa atin dito. So ito naman ang graph ng occurrence ng tropical cyclones dito sa ating bansa year-round from January to December. So makikita ninyo na June hanggang December, June tumataas yung tsansa na nagkakaroon tayo ng tropical cyclone. Pero from June to October, dahil ito ay panahon pa ng habagat, dito sa ating region, hindi tayo more or less affected ng tropical cyclone. Pero pagka nagbago na yung panahon, naging amihan na, naging northwest monsoon, from southeast monsoon, yun ang habagat. Pag naging northwest monsoon, last quarter of the month. Kaya we should brace ourselves for tropical cyclones that will be directly affecting our areas. Iyan po ang regular na experience natin for the year in, year out na tropical cyclones na na-measure ng ating taga DOST Pag-asa. So ang Pag-asa, sila po yung nagtitingin, nagbibigay sa atin ng advisory kung may paparating na bagyo. Yung PBOX naman kung mayroong mga lindol at pagkilos ng ating mga bulkan. Pero they both the same belong to the Department of Science and Technology. So kung balikan natin si Super Typhoon, dito yung ibibigay ko sa inyo na datos or data, it comes from Samar na area dahil after the impact of Super Typhoon, I was assigned there as the Municipal Coordinator of Plan International and I handled 3 municipalities para sa response, recovery, and rehabilitation of those affected communities. Kaya ito yung i-present ko sa inyo dahil ito ang medyo malapit-lapit sa katotohanan. So 259 persons died and 34 missing, and we have 7,241 injured in Eastern Samar. Then estimated damage to agriculture, it cost them 924 million. Then damage to infrastructures, 2.8 billion. Then partially damaged household, it reached 32,148. 32,148 was the totally damaged houses and 32,690 were partially damaged. Then 89,693 of the families were affected and 364,200 individuals were affected. Then 519 out of the 597 total barangays of Eastern Samar were totally affected by Super Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda. Then mostly southern municipalities were heavily affected from Balangkayan, Tugiwan, and Lawaan, and other municipalities with less damage from Burungan to Artichi. So ganun po katindi si Super Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda. Kaya huwag kayo maniniwala na it just caused the death of 6,300 plus kababayan natin. For me, as one of the actual responders of Super Typhoon Haiyan, believe that it cost more than those lives. Hindi yan bababa. On my estimate alone, 10,000 people. Pero hindi na yan binigyang pansin ng ating pamahalaan dahil kung babasahin nyo ng maigi yung ating batas RA 10121 kung naisa katuparan na ito nung pagdating ni Super Typhoon Haiyan, lahat ng incumbent public officials natin, hindi na sana sila pwedeng umupo ngayon sa kanilang pinag-uupuan dahil sa batas na RA 10121, if they were found out to be having that dereliction of their public duty, then they should be perpetually disqualified to hold public office. Pero hindi na yan binigyang pansin ng ating pamahalaan dahil lahat sila nagkaroon ng dereliction of public duty. Pero ngayon, kayo mga kabataan, dapat paigtingin natin itong batas na isa katuparan talaga. Huwag kayong patulog-tulog sa inyong right. Hindi lang ito privilege, kundi right. Dahil pag ang batas ay naisa katuparan, dapat binibigyan yan ng ngipin. So ito naman yung mga different disastrous tropical cyclones na nagbigay sa atin ng pasakit from 1984 to year 2000. So 2001 to 2021, mas marami-rami pa rin dito yung ating na-experience. Kaya kung usaping bagyo, ito babalikan ko sabihin sa inyo, whether we like it or yes, payag tayo't papayag, talagang kaparti siya ng ating buhay. Kaya nandun lang sa ating bawat kamay, kung we want to be part of the statistics sa mga namamatay or part of the statistics na affected at least nagsusurvive, nandyan lang sa atin. Kaya the lesser our capacity, the higher our vulnerability is to those hazards. Kaya dapat i-enhance natin ang ating capacity para ma-lessen natin ang ating vulnerabilities. So ito yung mga landslide prone barangays sa region. sa Region 8. At saka makikita natin sa Leyte, out of 1,366, we have 602 barangays na talagang very prone to landslide. At dito sa atin, within jurisdiction ng Baybay City, if you want to know kung taga Baybay City kayo, kagaya ko na adopted son na ng Baybay City, kung gusto ninyong tingnan kung yung community ninyo ay isa sa landslide prone area, pwede kayong pumunta dito sa office, hanapin nyo lang ako at ibibigay ko sa inyo yung mga barangays kung high or moderate or low or none na barangay or community ninyo sa hazard ng landslide. So ito yung different footages na ipapakita ko sa inyo, hindi sa tinatakot ko sa ipaparating ko sa inyo yung takot, kung hindi ipinarating sa inyo na dapat alam ninyo yung after effect ng landslide. Ito yung nangyari sa Ginsa-Ugon na it buried the community to 15 to 30 meters deep of mudslide, and it has a total land area of 350 hectares. So ganun katindi yung landslide na nangyari noong 2006 na yan. At ito naman yung after effect ng flash flood sa Ormoc na makikita ninyo, lahat ng basura natin ay tinatapon lang natin na kung saan-saan. Pagka dumarating yung kalamidad ay bumabalik talaga sa atin. So Ormoc City flash floods, ultimo yung kanilang mga road networks, talagang binungkal yan ng lakas ng tubig. At ito yung image ng some of parts of their city nung pagkatapos ng flash floods na yan. At ito naman yung after effect ng landslide, makikita ninyo kung ano yung larawan ng isang tao na ibinabaon na buhay pa at later on ay namamatay. So walang dignity yung kanilang kamatayan. At ito naman yung different causes ng natural hazards natin, flooding, at saka itong after effect ng earthquake kung saan gumuguho naman yung ating mga structures. So, dito pag-usapan naman natin yung climate change at kung bakit nagkakaroon tayo ng global warming. Climate change is an after effect ng ating lifestyle. Dahil para sa inyong kaalaman, yung ating mundo, mayroon siyang natural insulators. Ito yung tinatawag natin na greenhouse gases na kung yung different chemical compositions na nandun, yung gaya ng carbon dioxide, methane, yung mga nitrous oxides na yan, mayroon lang silang normal concentration na nagbibigay sa atin ng insulation na yung effect ng extreme sunlight at saka yung coldness sa ating kapaligiran ay bali nakokontrol siya for human habitation na matatawag natin na very pleasing sana. Pero dahil sa change of lifestyle natin, from agricultural, naging industrial yung ating mga rich countries, kaya naging matindi yung paggamit natin ng mga fossil fuels, pinagpuputol pa natin yung ating mga terrestrial resources, mga samut-saring kahoy natin, na sila yung matindi sana yung nagpapabawas ng ating greenhouse gases gaya ng emission ng yung carbon dioxide, dahil every tree na pinuputol natin na babawasan yung nagdi-decrease sana ng pagpunta ng carbon dioxide sa ating atmosphere. So kaya yung greenhouse gases natin na sana labas-masok lang yung sun rays natin, hindi ganun katindi yung init ng ating kapaligiran dahil na-enhance siya, naparami yung carbon dioxide natin dahil sa paggamit natin ng mga fossil fuels, pagpuputol natin ng ating mga punong kahoy, kaya nagkaroon tayo ngayon ng global warming dahil yung heat ng sunlight natin, imbis labas-masok, natratrap na siya. Kaya, ayun, imbis na yung palibot natin, very normal lang yung temperature, nagiging mainit na. Kaya, kung babalikan natin, walang ibang salarin ng ating climate change na leads to global warming, kundi tayo-tayo rin lang. At baga sabihin ninyo mga kabataan kayo, ay, mga bagong generation kami, hindi pa kami ganoon nakapag-contribute ng excessive carbon dioxide to the environment. Pero mula nung isilang kayo, part na rin kayo doon dahil yung mga pinagagamit sa inyo ng inyong parents ay naging kaparte siya para maging enhanced yung ating greenhouse gases sa atmosphere. Kaya ngayon, as of this moment, nagkakaroon ng ating United Nations, mayroong convention sila, may meeting para ma-avert itong effect ng climate change towards global warming na sana hindi na siya mag-increase pa ng 1.5 degrees centigrade. Dahil pagka hindi ito na-control ng ating United Nations, sad to say, ang tinatawag nating the new normal na quote-unquote, ito talaga yung new abnormal na generation na coexistence natin sa natural at man-made hazards, ay talagang mababawasan yung lifespan natin dito sa mundo dahil kung hindi ka mamatay sa sakit, papatayin ka sa mga hazards na nakapaloob sa ating community within our government and within our state or country. Kaya tulong-tulong sana tayo na maibsan itong global warming brought by climate change na tayo ang may kasalanan. So, ito isa-isahin natin. Ano ba yung nagpa-increase ng ating mga atmospheric chemicals na yan? Dahil po sa rapid increase of population. Pagka mataas yung population natin, mataas yung demand natin ng ating mga natural resources. Dahil kung may hawak kayong papel, iyan po ay galing sa ating mga punong kahoy na pinagpuputol natin dahil gagamitin naman natin sa ating daily activities. Pero sad to say, dahil sa increased population, increased demand of uses of paper, kaya increased demand of cutting of trees. Pero sa ating bansa, since 2006, nagkaroon na po tayo ng total log ban. Pero sad to say, hindi siya binibigyan ng ngipin. Kung mahilig kayong magmatyag sa inyong kapaligiran, marami pa rin kayong makikitang kahoy na pinagpuputol. Kung hindi na siya kahoy, uling na kahoy. So it came from our trees again. So wala pa rin ngipin yung ating total lagban. Then changing people lifestyles. Yung una, kaya lang nating maglakad, magbike. Ngayon, hindi na. Talagang kailangan sumakay na tayo ng mga automobiles at lahat ng pinagagamit natin na dati ay ginagamitan lang natin ng kamay, ngayon mga machines na. Then itong add-on pa, paggamit natin ng refrigerator, aircons na nagbibigay sila ng add-on condition para mas lalong lumala itong atong climate change. Then modern way of farming sa ating mga farmers. Nung dati, traditional yung sistema ng kanilang pagsasaka, ngayon naging gumagamit na sila ng chemicals and fertilizers na precursor siya sa climate change. Then, presence of many industries and development in our different states in our world. Kaya makikita ninyo, siya yung nagdudulot ng ating climate change that eventually results of global warming. Then, mining and quarrying, and of course, illegal logging. Then, increasing mixed garbage per 0.3 to 0.7 kilograms per person yung ating na-generate na garbage. So, kung ikaw mahilig mag-generate ng non-biodegradable garbage, so sana may gawin ka dyan para hindi siya maka-enhance ng ating climate change. Then, increasing greenhouse gases. Ito na yung sinabi ko kanina na na-alter natin yung normal condition ng greenhouse gases natin sa ating atmosphere. So instead of insulating our world na maging maaliwalas lang sana yung ating kapaligiran dahil normal condition cold naman yung ating may experience. Then ito pang malala, nagkaroon tayo ng rampant illegal fishing and forest products extractions. Kaya tayo rin ang may salarin. So, effects of climate change sa atin, dahil sinalaula natin yung ating kapaligiran, we will be expecting coastal communities to expect they will be affected by sea level rise. So, kung coastal erosion lang dati, ngayon, sea level rise na may mga coastal communities tayo na while they are existing now, maybe 10 years from now, they will be lost because they will be submerged into water. Then, frequent incidents of droughts, floods, and typhoons, and other calamities. So, dati, yung tropical storm warning signals natin hanggang signal number 4 lang tayo. Because of climate change, hanggang signal number 5 na. Then, increasing air and waterborne diseases. So, ngayon, sinasalaula natin yung ating kapaligiran kaya we are experiencing pandemic dulot ng COVID. So part na rin yan ng ating pagsasaula-ula ng ating kapaligiran. Then changing rainfall patterns and temperatures. Ito na yung sinabi ko kanina na pag umulan, sobrang lakas ng ulan. Pag tag-init naman, sobrang tag-init. Then because of this, nakakaroon tayo ng decreasing food production and fish catch. Dahil yung rainfall patterns natin may after effect or direct effect siya sa ating food production. At saka itong temperatures natin, may effect din siya sa ating food production and fish catch. Then, increasing water, land, and air pollution. Kaya, dahil na rin yan sa atin lahat. So, paano natin maibsan itong effects ng climate change? So, kung nandyan na yan, yung ating paggamit ng mga non-biodegradable material, so, mag-practice tayo ng reduce, recycle, and reuse. So no need for me to discuss this accordingly dahil alam ko maraming beses na ninyo ito naririnig. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Pero ang problema, hanggang pagdinig lang. Sabi nga ni Engineer Manolo kanina, pinararating lang natin sa kaliwang tinga, pinalulusot sa kanan. So dito ngayon, we should be doing what we preach. Hindi yung we preach one thing, then do another thing. Ito dapat angkop na siya lahat. Then we should save energy or conserve our energies. Then promote the use of renewable energy through solar radiation, biofuels, and hydroelectric power source. Then at the most, we should be helping planting trees. On my end, at least sa buhay ko, I am 56 years old now. Kung bibilangin sa 56 years of existence ko, at least nagbigay ako ng 6 years na nag-plant trees ako. Dahil nakasama ako naging staff ako ng Haribon Foundation, isa siyang local NGO na nag-implement ng Golden Landscape and Seascape Project sa Surigao del Sur, specifically sa Lanusa. Nakapagtanim kami doon ng mga indigenous tree species through rainforestation. Kaya at agroforestry. Kaya at least I have done my share. So kayo naman mga younger generation, hopefully you should also done your share. Dahil para magkaroon tayo ng sustainability, lahat ng ginagawa natin ngayon dapat makarating yan sa next generation. Hindi lang sa inyong generation, kundi sa next generation pa ninyo. Dahil pag hindi na nila ito ma-experience, yung na-experience natin na medyo maganda, wala na tayong sustainability. Then, conserve our water, power, and other natural resources para at least ma-lessen natin yung effect ng climate change. Then, be environment friendly. Kung hindi mo kakayanin magtanim, huwag mong salaulain yung ating mga different punong kahoy. Yung iba kasi, pagka may kasamang date, iuukit yung kanilang mga pangalan doon sa bark ng tree. At para alamin ninyo, yung mga barks ng trees natin, doon dumadaan yung water ng ating punong kahoy. Kaya nga, kung pagbabalatan mo yung bark ng ating mga punong kahoy, mamamatay sila. Dahil yung xylem at phloem nila, yung food at water source, doon dumadaan yan. Dapat alam na alam ninyo yan dahil nandiyan kayo sa agricultural school. And I am also an agriculture graduate, kaya at least nakaka-discuss ako nito. Then, reduce population growth. On my end, tumulong ako na magkaroon ng reduction ng ating population, kaya 2 lang yung naging anak ko. Then, back to simple lifestyle. Huwag tayong masyadong maging maluho. We should live within our means. Ito pa yung napapansin ko ngayon sa mga millennials natin. Tumataas yung inyong suicidal tendencies. Marami tayong kababayan na every year mula nang mapasok ako dito sa LGU ng Baybay, magpa 5 years ako next year dito sa LGU Baybay, nakikita ko pataas ng pataas yung suicidal statistics dito sa Baybay. At inaalam namin dahil part ng DRRM measures natin dito sa LGU, inaalam namin yung kanilang mga suliranin. Kung titingnan natin ang babaw, pero hindi naman natin pwede i-judge dahil on their part, baka para sa kanila malalim na yan. Pero at least kung isinusulong lang sana nila itong simple lifestyle, hindi sila masyadong nagpapauso dyan sa mga social media na gusto nilang subukan lahat yung nakikita nila sa social media, which is on my end, sa tingin ko, nasa packaging lang po yan. Huwag po kayong maniniwala na lahat ng nakikita ninyo, lalo na sa Facebook, ay talagang yan ang na-experience ng mga kasamahan ninyo, mga kaibigan na nandun na pinopost nila. Yung iba niyan, muha lang sila dyan para may maipost lang. Kaya, live simply and you will be more happier. Then, flooding and typhoon. So, ito yung makikita natin sa ating communities pag na-experience natin. Then, typhoon. So, makikita ninyo talagang sa tindi ng hangin, ganyan po ang mangyayari sa ating kapaligiran. Then, sa landslide naman, ganito po, earthquake-induced landslide o di kaya rain-induced landslide. So, talagang pagka ang community ninyo ay malapit sa bundok, dapat alam ninyo na later on, kaparte kayo sa earthquake-induced or rain-induced na hazard ng landslide. Then ito naman, storm surge. Pwede rin itong maging tsunami kung ang earthquake yung precursor. Pero dahil ito ay nangyari na mayroong storm, so storm surge ang tawag dyan. So, in every earthquake, nakakaroon naman tayo ng after effect. Yung tawag natin dito, yung liquefaction. Bakit nakakaroon ng liquefaction? Yung water natin, yung ground natin, imbes solid siya, nagli-liquefy. Kaya nakakaroon tayo ng ground fissure. So okay lang yung hazard na ito kung mangyari itong liquefaction, hindi nakadaan doon sa ibabaw, sa ilalim ng inyong kabahayan. So wala siyang magiging cause ng damage. Pero for this picture or this image, makita nyo, dumaan yung liquefaction effect sa ibabaw ng ating road network. Kaya mayroon siyang damage sa ating road network. So kung imagine ninyo, nangyari ito sa ilalim ng inyong bahay, so yung bahay nyo ay talagang magigiba dahil magpo-collapse. Then human-induced calamities, itong fire. Sabi nga ng kaibigan ko na nagtatrabaho sa Bureau of Fire Protection, sabi niya, magandang kaibigan itong apoy, pero masama naman siyang kaaway. Kaya huwag kayong maglalaro ng apoy. Baka yung buhay nyo at inyong mga ari-arian. Then yung deforestation, dahil sinalaula natin, pinagpuputol natin yung different indigenous tree species natin, it results to deforestation. Then depletion of ozone layer, itong mga ginagamit nating different appliances na mayroong mga chemicals na nakapaloob dyan, lalo na sa ating mga refrigeration systems na yan, nagkakasira siya sa ating ozone layer. Then use of agricultural chemicals para sa ating mga farmers. Then of course, itong industrial and hospital toxic waste, nag-contribute din yan sa human-induced calamities. Then dumping of radioactive materials sa ating mga rich countries na mayroong mga gumagamit ng radioactive materials. Then mining and quarrying, nakaka-induce din siya ng natural calamities. Then air pollution, then itong ating yung paggamit ng mga fossil fuels. So, meron ba kayong mga tanong? Kung wala kayong tanong, so at least natapos ko yung aking topic. Thank you very much for listening, and hopefully I had imparted something to you, and hopefully you will not just listen it for a day, you should also practice it while you are doing your student life or doing your community life. So, yun lang po. Maraming salamat and God bless us all.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Sir Sino, for that very impactful talk. Ngayon, I'm nakikinig kayo ay may mga nare-reflect din kayo. So, sa inyong mga daily activities, yes, thank you, sir. Okay, daily activities ninyo, may mga nare-reflect kayo na may mga bagay pala kayong nagagawa na nakaka-apekto rin sa pagbabago ng ating klima. So, hopefully, through this talk, magkakaroon tayo ng panibagong perception, panibagong activity na makakatulong para sa ikauunlad at ikabubuti ng ating Earth, of course. So, now, I hope you prepare questions and clarifications. So, later, sir, we will have our open forum later. So, okay lang po ba na later na lang nila i-raise yung kanilang questions and clarifications?
I think it would be best if they will be conveying it now, because today I should have been doing my review, but because of my love for our alma mater, I just have my review set aside for this webinar. So if it is favorable on your part that I can have the open forum now for any clarifications of our students, because I'll be leaving early because of my review.
So hopefully, Professor Joy, would it be okay if we will address the questions of our students regarding this topic karon daw?
Yes, that is possible.
Okay, thank you, sir. So now, I think we have the floor. We'll be giving the floor to our students. If you have questions, you may send your questions via our Facebook Live and through our Zoom or group chat box. Okay, so Sir Seno earlier is asking anong gamay lang daw ta sa atong Zoom meeting. Sir, we would like to let you know naapot tayo Facebook Live, and earlier, I think 500 plus man pod ang atong viewers sa atong live streaming. So na-add na siya sa atong mga sa atong mga students, kay some of them is also nagtitipid sa datas. So yun po. Okay, now if you have questions, I would like to call Sir Marlon. Sir, if may mga natanong na po ba sila na questions na nababasa niyo po na hindi ko po nakikita?
So far, ma'am, wala pa may questions. May tanong lang po ako kay Sir Sino.
Okay po, sir.
Sir, in BSU campus, sir, what kind of hazard or disaster can be happen, possible be happen, and what shall we do, sir, if to lessen the effect of this hazard or disaster, sir?
Since you are part of our state or of our country, so one of our natural hazards that will be affecting the school is typhoon. And when there is typhoon, because BSU is covering terrestrial and coastal resources, so pwede rin kayong ma-affected ng storm surge. At saka itong ating BSU, dahil kasama siya sa 25 kilometers radius ng Philippine Fault Zone, so isang hazard din natin yung earthquake, na yung kung naalala ninyo, sinabi ko dati na forecast na yan na pagka gumilos yung dormant segment ng ating area, PBOX DOST is expecting na magkaroon tayo ng intensity 8, which is destructive shock pagka nangyari. Kaya every now and then, pagka makaramdam kayo ng mahina-hinang seismicity, you should be thankful to God. Dahil ako, mula nung 2017, pagka nagkakaroon tayo ng lindol, I am always praying to God na, yes, thank you Lord, at least hindi mo binawan time yung pagpakilos or pag-release ng energy ng ating fault zone, which is hazardous to our locality dahil pasok tayo sa 25-kilometer zone. At isa pa, dahil yung ating BSU ay part siya sa mga hilly part area, so pwede rin tayo tamaan dyan ng landslide. caused by earthquake induced or due to increased precipitation. So yun po ang mga hazards natin dyan, sir. At saka, pwede rin yung fire hazard, human-induced. So hopefully I had answered your
Okay, sir. Thank you so
question.
much, sir. So, yung mga student dyan, magtanong na kayo.
Okay, to our students, do not be afraid. Dahil may kasabihan, pag wala kayong alam at hindi kayo nagtanong, magiging mangbang kayo forever. Pero pag hindi nyo alam, nagtanong kayo, at least yung kamangmangan nyo, 1 minute lang or ilang segundo lang.
Okay, ika nga sa right med na patalastas. Okay, sir. So, ika nga sa right med na patalastas, huwag mahihiyang magtanong.
Okay, Sir Romney Kabilin, may nag-raise ng hand. Sige, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Hi, sir. Good morning, sir. Nala ko, sir, question, sir, about the Earth Week. First, there is a technology about this to address na maka-advance me o prepare into self-earthquake, sir. So,
Sorry, hindi ko masyado na gets yung tanong. Pero may nabasa ko dito sa chat box. Nagtatanong kung pwede ba daw makarating sa ating mga rural communities yung garbage collection truck ng LGU. Pero sad to say, ngayon kasi yung nararating lang ng ating mga garbage trucks na galing sa LGU ay hindi pa ganun katindi na pati yung mga malayo-layong rural areas na rarating. Pero merong ginagawa yung LGU natin dyan na ini-encourage yung ating mga local government units or yung barangay local government units natin, yung officials nila na isulong yung 3 R's na yan, reduce, reuse, and recycle ng ating non-biodegradable materials. Kaya nga mayroon na silang Materials Recovery Facility, MRF, dahil hindi nakakayanin ng ating garbage truck na puntahan. At saka sinusulong na ibaon nila yung mga biodegradable materials para hindi siya makapagbigay ng add-on na sakit sa kanilang community. Pero yun nga lang, dahil nga tayo yung mga Pilipino, hindi tayo ganun kaagad nagiging masunurin. We are waiting na pag na-impact na sa atin yung negative effect ng pagsasalaulan ng ating mga basura, doon lang tayo kumikilos ng wholeheartedly. So sa ngayon, yun ang muna dapat gawin ng ating mga rural communities na hindi pa nararating ng ating LGU garbage collectors dahil hindi pa nakakaya ng LGU na isulong yung ating recycling ng ating mga non-biodegradable materials. Dahil nga may kasabihan, pag ginusto may paraan, pero pag ayaw, wala talaga. Maraming dahilan. So nasa atin talaga, kung gusto natin na magbago, dapat it starts from us, within us. Hindi natin iasa sa iba. Yun lang po.
Thank you, sir.
So may tanong pa?
Okay. So, other questions daw, maaari niyong i-send sa email or i-prepare nilang mamaya ni Sir Marlon. So, i-forward niyo na lang sa email ni Sir Marlon yung other questions niyo para ma-address natin later.
Okay, so ma'am, lahat ng questions, may email ad naman kayo sa akin. Pwede ninyong i-ano sa akin, i-email, then I will be happy to answer them. Then dito may isa pa akong nabasa, ano po daw yung pwedeng gawin sa kanilang neighbor na sunog ng basura. Actually, dito sa LGU Baybay, meron po tayong ordinance na ipinagbabawal po yung pagsusunog ng maski anong basura. Kaya ang maigi ninyong gawin yan, i-report ninyo sa inyong barangay officials. Pag hindi inaksyonan, i-report ninyo dito sa local government unit, lalo na kay mayor, para ma-aksyonan yan. Dahil kung hindi lang aaksyonan ng ating barangay officials, pwede silang managot sa ating DILG. At lalo na dito sa ating mayor ng ating lungsod. Dahil mayroon tayong ordinance or batas na ipinagbabawal talaga yan. Dahil isa po yung precursor na lalong lumalabala itong ating global warming brought by climate change. Dahil nai-enhance yung ating carbon dioxide na pinaparating sa ating atmosphere. So hopefully, magtulong-tulong po tayo. Kaya nga, kung babalikan ninyo yung presentation ko, disaster risk reduction and management is everybody's concern. Hindi lang po ito concern ng office namin, kung hindi bawat isa sa atin. At kung gusto natin mabago yung pananaw ng bawat isa sa atin, unahin mo muna natin yung sarili nating pananaw. Hanggat hindi po natin yan nauuna, yung change from us, within us, hindi natin yan kayang mangyari, so hindi natin yan kayang ipangyari din sa iba. So hopefully, ma-internalize natin na kung gusto nating magbago, baguhin muna natin yung sarili. Kung patapon ka maski sa ng basura, matuto kayong magtapon ng tama ng ating basura. Hindi yung basura lang ng iba yung napapansin natin, yung basura natin hindi natin napapansin. So dapat symbiotic po yung existence natin para at least maging tayo, peaceful and healthy yung ating palibot. So yun lang po, magandang umaga sa ating lahat and hopefully nakatulong ako na maging DRR CCA tayo lahat dito, practitioners. So God bless po. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you, sir.